Hello, hello, hello. It's Anne Lewis, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based on the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, Australia. I'll just bring you up here so you can actually see me. Oh, it's been one of those days. I've done 5 cards for tonight, but I'm only going to be demonstrating 2. For those that don't know me, I do in-person classes, online classes, I do joint lives with other demonstrators. And I'm here to make creativity easy. So tonight I'm going to be showcasing. Wait a minute, I'm just going to add a couple of things here. Oh. And just so I can see your comments. So let me know if you are watching. And I've got, it's an interesting projects tonight, because I'm trying to, I'm showing you that you really don't need dies to make really, really nice cards. And it's a nice change up just to be able to use stamps. Now, the stamp I'm about to show you, you probably haven't seen before, because it's one of our new online exclusives coming on, I think, the 7th of what's next month? July, the 7th of July. Now I'll throw you down to the desk. Here we go. So this is one of the cards I'm making. Whoop whoop. How nice is that? Now it's probably the star of the show. So hopefully you'll like the other cards as well. But I'm using the Inked Floret stamp set. And it's a single stamp, it's a large stamp, and the line is really quite thick. And it's also a stamp that, especially when it's new, you need to take a bit of care on. So I'll be walking you through the steps to make sure you always have a successful result with this stamp set. Now, where's it on my block? So you can see how big it is. Wait a minute, where have I got a piece of cardstock that I can put under it? Oh, that doesn't help, does it? Here's a piece of cardstock. Here's some. Oh, that doesn't help much. Oh, yes, now you can see it a bit better. So this is our, well, I don't even think we make this one anymore. But you can use your a stamp positioner plate to do this as well. So it's got a lot of detail and it's a big stamp. So you need to make sure you've got a level surface, you ink it up well, and you also press. Now, I'll show you my sneaky trick. And if you don't have this, so this is a paper piercing mat. And if you don't have this, you could use a thick one of these, a mouse pad. So this is the secret that makes this successful. Now, I'm not trying to scare you off, but I do want you to be able to do this and have it really work out. Now, for those that haven't seen heat embossing before, hopefully I can get the cord this far over. But this is done with heat embossing. So I've used heat embossing powder, which comes in little tubs, but I decant it into a plastic container because it makes it a little easier. And I've actually stamped this stamp in pieces, so I haven't used the whole stamp on it. I've split it up. And I've used it on the Brushed with Beauty designer series paper. But you could pick any color scheme, you could pick any designer series paper that is a fairly light one. And we have so many, especially B-sides of our designer series paper, that you could use this. You could use our in colors. So this is one of those things that you can use your stash for. Rightio. So you can see what the card looks like, and I just decorate it very simply. because I kept it generic, I didn't want to put a stamp set on the inside because thinking of you, I could use it for a sympathy card, just a generic card, birthday card, for so many things. So I didn't want to commit to something on the inside. So I've been doing that lately. Let's get going. Now, you can use whatever colours you like. And if you don't have any designer series paper for tonight, you could just do one layer and make it white and it will still look stunning. Or you could use a light coloured cardstock. It will still look stunning because embossing powder means it will show up, especially silver, on just about any colour, even black. So that should tell you something. So let's get out my little supplies. So to use embossing powder, we'll need some Versamark ink. And I have done little bits of this, not a lot, but little bits of it. So my card base I've already cut is 8 1/4, which is the width of our cardstock, our A4 cardstock, 8 1/4 inches by 5 1/2. Now, just need to find something on my desk. As always, when you've got so many cards going, there's a fair bit happening actually. What did I do with it? I've got some. Anyway, it'll turn up. Okay. So then I'm going to grab my paper trimmer and I'm going to score at 4 1/8 inches. So if we're going to score, I'll just bring this down a little bit. You're going to use, as I remember it, the lighter colour. This is the dark brown and this is like a grey. So that's the lighter colour. Doesn't cut. So I'll get this out of the way and then just score it. Now, I also used a white layer. Wait a minute. I've got a little bit of embossing powder everywhere on my desk at the moment. I know. So I also used a basic white layer under this just to give it a greater separation. But depending on the colour, you may or may not need that. So this size, I'm going to write it on the back, hopefully. I don't need to turn it over when anything goes wrong. So this is 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/4. Right? So that can sit there. I'm not going to stick it on yet because I will always work from the top layer down. Now this is my next layer and I think I've got it the right size. Oh, don't know that I do, but we'll make it the right size. So, but as I said, sometimes if you make a mistake, oh, it is a little thin. What have I got this at? I'm going to cut this down a little bit. So no, actually, if I had some more of that somewhere, which I don't think I do, I think I'll put it away. So this will do. So I'm just double checking I've got the right measurements here. So now I've got a slightly bigger border on this. So now this is, I don't know whether I can, I'll write it down on here so that you can see it. And I'll measure it just in case. So this is 3 5/8 by 5 inches. I know, so 5 inches down, 3 5/8. As I said, this could be plain cardstock or it can be fancy. I'll go the fancy one here. Now, this is my Versamark. Now, I'm going to make sure that my Versamark is well inked. Now, so you can get re-inker, comes in little tubes like this. Now, I have to say, I had an old one, and it would probably be 10 years old. It was a little hard to squeeze out, so I splurged and got a new one out. Now, I'm just going to add a little bit because I did re-ink it before, but just so you can see how I re-ink. Now, this is Versamark, so it it does two things. It can actually leave a watermark on cardstock. So if I stamped it on here, where's a little stamp? I've got a stamp that I can use here. This will do. I'm just going to stamp on here, and you'll see why it's called a watermark ink. You stamp it here, and you can just see this pale. Hopefully you can see that. Hang on, let's see if I can get that light a little further over. So you can see it's a tone-on-tone watermark. But the other thing that it does, it's like a glue, and it will hold this embossing powder in place. Now, let's get rid of a few of these bits and pieces. We're going to use this stamp set. Remember I told you the secret? You're going to use the paper piercing mat. And I always put a piece of paper, I've been using this a fair bit, as you can see, underneath. Now, this piece of paper has to be really thin. Don't use cardstock because that will stop it, actually. And I'll show you. This has a little bit of give. And that's why this works with such a big stamp. Rightio, so let's go. Now, before we get going, hi Jeanette, let's welcome everybody. Hi Marianne, hi Glenda, and hi Gail. Thank you very much for joining us. Rightio, now this is a super big stamp, but I'm not going to just stamp it in the middle. I do have quite a few. What do I have any? Where's my next card? So I'm not going to use the whole stamp like I did on this one. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put parts of this stamp around and fill it up and then use the embossing powder. So how I'm going to stamp it up and make sure that all those little bits, all those little bits are covered in embossing, in Versamark. Now, I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this, but I've kind of put it up there because I only want this part of the ink pad. If you're going to err on the side of caution. Now, I do want to show you something that I learned from experience. There's some leaves across here and some leaves across here. They are the hardest bit to stamp because they're right in the middle of the stamp. So you've got to put a bit of pressure on it. And this is one of those stamp sets you can apply pressure to. I'm going to put it on the side because it's such a thick outline, as you will see. Now, when I stamp this down, you won't even be able to see it in all probability because it's clear. But once I apply, I forgot to put the embossing buddy. Now I'll explain what this does. We'll put this one down. And as you see, I'm applying a fair bit of pressure. I know. So what I would normally do is apply the embossing buddy, which is just full of like a dry powder. And when you put it on, any finger marks or anything, in other words, any of those oils on your hand will attract the embossing powder. So we use the embossing buddy. Now, as I said, I'm a little late. So I'll just go around where, can't believe I forgot that, where my next stamps are going to go. I don't want to put it where I've already got the Versamark. I know, that should work. Now I'm hoping you'll be able to see. It's pretty hard to see. So I'm going to ink up my stamp again. Making sure I get plenty of coverage on it. Right. And on this side, and when you're doing this in person, you can actually see where you have stamped. So you're not going too blind. So, and these always turn out different every time. Now, you don't want to overstamp. I don't think you want to overstamp anyway. I wouldn't. Now, again, I'm putting a fair bit of pressure on this. Now, if it's a fine line stamp that you're using, you don't want to press that hard, but it wouldn't be as hard. That's perfect. And then I'm just going to spin this around. This time I'm just going to use that flower there. Not exactly only that flower, but that's what I'm aiming to use. So I'll give it a little bit of space. And this is how you can make your own fancy designer series paper. So I've just turned that around. I've actually left a bit more space in the middle than I probably meant to. That's okay. We'll work around that. That's what they give us sentiments for. Now, I think you're going to get a wow for this. And I know. So that's done nicely. And now I'll have to clean that stamp set off. I'll clear this away. Now, I know you can't see this, but you will be able to see it. I'm just getting my little embossing tray. I'm going to put this away to get it out of the way. Because you know me. Now, I should have I do have a set of tweezers, which I'll try and pick this up again. And I'm trying to put this somewhere where I don't have, just trying to see where I've got it, where it doesn't matter because I won't have any ink underneath it. So now this is easy then to apply the embossing powder. Now there's any number of ways you can do this, but to be honest, I don't use any sort of flash technique. But you know, I don't have great power in my wrists. I just want to sprinkle this all the way over. Now, normally I wouldn't add this much, to be honest, but it's a little hard at the moment. I know. So you can see how that's come out. Now, I've got to shake it off first. So I always make sure when I'm shaking something off, I use something metal because there's a little too much and I'm probably a little hard to see. So I just tap it on the back gently. Well, not that gentle, because that vibration takes off any of the loose powder. That's looking pretty good. Now, remember, I didn't actually, I forgot to apply the embossing buddy early. So there's a few little bits here, but not a lot. It's coming out pretty good. Now, and if you've missed any, and I've just missed, don't know whether you'll be able to see this. Looking for my pointy tool, wherever it may be. I'll use this one. I've just missed applying a little bit there, so I'll just double dip that. That's better. And I'll just take off any excess. Use that little fine paintbrush to take a little bit off. This is where I didn't use the embossing buddy, but that's looking pretty good. There was a little bit at the other end. Now I'm going to get this out of the way. You should know me. Now I'm hoping I didn't get time to test it. I'm going to bring this over here. And those tweezers that I'm using hold it even though my hands aren't on it. So I can drop this in here. Let's see. Make a bit more space. If I can get this in this heat tool over, hopefully it will reach, and you'll be able to see the magic of embossing if you haven't seen it before. And even if you've seen it many times, you're probably still like me. No, I didn't mean to take the. Now I've just got alfoil in there to. I've just got alfoil in there to protect my desk. Where's my. This is what I want. So that you can see this. I don't. I'm hoping. Oh, I don't. You can see this changing. See how it's going? It's changing from dull to shiny. There's no great skill. You don't want to get your embossing, your heat gun too close. You want to go back over it and make sure that there's no flat grey bits for the silver. I'll show you what it looks like. Now, I don't normally do embossing live. You need to keep your fingers out of the way, hence why I'm using the tweezers. I'm just going to turn that off. There's a couple of bits that I've missed, and I'm going to point them out to you. So let's get that away from the glare. I've missed, where is it? I've missed a couple of bits through there. They're plain and they're dull. So that's how I know I've missed them. And you don't want to go over too much because you can scorch your embossing powder. There's a little bit more over here. Well, a couple of little bits that I've missed. Doesn't take long, this, but you do always want to check. Oh, there's a bit there. Now, if you don't heat it, in other words, melt it, what happens is it'll just brush straight off. And we don't want that. I know. So how gorgeous. Oh, there's a little bit more there. Wait a minute. Where's my, what did I do? Hang on. Where's that little piece there? You want it on high. Where's that little piece I found? Look at this. I know. Now, we're using this, doing this technique on Sunday if you're coming along. I know, how gorgeous is that? So let's find those pieces that we had here before. That's what the card looks like. So I can stick this on. Now I want to show you a design thing. You remember I changed the size of this wholly and solely because that was the size of my designer series paper that I had left. But I'll just show you this so you get an idea what I'm talking about. As a design feature, I've got the same border, where am I, on the Petal Pink as the basic white. I don't like that. I like my borders to be different sizes. I think it looks a little better. So I'm going to cut this down, just take 1/8 of an inch off. Over here you can see this. Just 1/8 of an inch. So it's a really small bit off two sides. right? And let's see if you can see what the difference is. So now I've just got a little tiny piece and a lot bigger border of the Petal Pink. I like that a lot better. But you get to choose the size of your borders. So let's glue this down. So I'm using the multi-purpose glue. I've been using Seal Plus lately, and I've actually been having a lot of success with it. Let's put this down here. Get my borders even. I love the multi-purpose glue because you can fiddle with it. So if you don't get it perfect the first time, it's got a little bit of wiggle room. Now, I'm using, just whilst while I'm thinking this through, whilst I'm applying some dimensionals, tonight I'm using Lemon Lolly. I am using Pool Party, Petal Pink, and I'm also using Hydrangea Blue. And also some more Lemon Lolly and some Lemon Lime Twist, which most of you know is a favourite of mine, and some Shaded Spruce. I have to think about this. So, who does heat embossing? Do you do it much? I love how it finishes it, because look at how gorgeous it is. This it's just about looks. Can I say it looks better than the Stamping Up Designer Series paper? Well, kind of does, because it's so shiny. Hang on a minute, I'm just cleaning up my desk. So there it is. Now, if you heat your embossing powder too much, it'll just start to curl a little bit. Now, I've already done a little sentiment, thinking of you, which comes from, I've got it sitting here, the phrases and frames. This is already available. So, and it has gorgeous sentiments. Anniversaries are for celebrating the joys of today, the memories of yesterday, and the hopes of tomorrow. We've also got some sympathy, have a fabulous day, happiest birthday wishes. And it's got these gorgeous fonts, so a mix of fonts in each one. So let's decide. Now I put this one down here because I felt it looked better. But let's see. I always ask for help on this. So where do you think I should put this one? We'll bring it up. I'll just stop that camera off it. Right. You can see the shine on that. Again in the middle. Now, sometimes you can use your sentiment blocks or sentiment strips or whatever, circles, to hide something. But I've got really nothing to hide. I haven't got any great big bare patches, but I think again I will drop it down here. What does everyone think? I heat emboss sometimes, Glenda does. So who else heats emboss? Because it just is stunning and it's so easy. You do need a heat tool. Don't use your toaster. Doesn't work the same. And don't use your hubbies. I don't know what you call it, but you know the when it shoots fire out of it. I think down here is where it looks the best. Right. So how gorgeous is that? Now I'm going to add. I think I've got some paper here. Going to add just an insert. What did I put in this one? I just put a little. Sorry, bit of asthma. So I just do most of my inserts at a standard size, which is 3 7/8, which isn't what I did here. I had a look at it and went, that's not what I did. 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. So I just keep it to a standard. That's the wrong one. And then I've got a little leftover strip here. Is it the right size? Yes, it is. So I do pretty it up a little bit, and I'll add stuff when I decide what I'm going to be using this card for. Now, I could have added that stamp on the inside, which is what I did on the next card coming up. This is where that glue is. Perfect. Stick this in. So do you like this card? Beautiful. I heat emboss maybe once a year. I sometimes avoid it. Well, I always avoid it in my classes online because of the noise. And also, it's hard to get the cord across. However, I thought it was time to bite the bullet, and this was too nice not to do. Now, let's see. This is the original. How gorgeous has that come up? This is the one we made tonight. And you can see it's easy. Now, I'm going to get rid of the heat embosser. Now, I will warn you, is that you should always disconnect your heat emboss. Oops. Punch caught up. Disconnect your heat embossing, your heat tool, because it falls on the floor, which mine has. It kept going, and it can set fire to your house. So it's very rare, so always disconnect it for safety. I know. So card 1 done. Let's do card 2. Now, it's a completely different card. Now, I've got my hard base here, which is Lemon Lolly, which I'll cut down to 5.5 inches. Just about for all my samples, I keep to standard card sizes, which standard card size for me is 8 1/4 wide by 5.5 inches down here, and scored at 4 1/8 inches. Now, did you like that petal pink? I don't think, well, this should tell you something. When I opened up my petal pink tonight, it was the original petal pink that I ordered when petal pink first started. I don't use it very often. Rightio. So I then need, hopefully I've got something on my desk that's going to do this job. Have I? Yes. So then I'm going to cut the white first. And you'll understand why in a second. And try and find any of these pieces that I can use. So this time I'm cutting 5 1/8 inches. And you'll understand why. 5 1/8 inches long, and wide I'm going 3 3/4 inches. Right. Now, so that's how it now looks. But I want a little black to pop this up on. But I only want a tiny border. So I've actually got a 1/16 of a border. So let's go back. So all I've done is add 1/16, which if you're not sure what 1/16 is, it's the smallest, I don't know whether you can see this, of these lines. So normally 1/8 is 2 of these little lines. 1/16 is just one of them. So, what did I say this was? Let's measure it up. So it's 3 3/4. I'm going to write this on for you. I might have to turn it over, but that's okay. 3 3/4 by 5 1/8. So this is going to be Let's find our 3 3/4, and then I'm just moving it to the left this way, 1/16. I think I need some new. So this is 5 1/8, and I'm moving it 1/16 this way. I'm not going to read out that measurement, otherwise you'll roll your eyes at me. Righto. So here we go. This is what it looks like. So it's got that tiniest black border to make it pop. Now, let's see how I did this. So what I did here was I created a mask so that I would only blend within this area. Now, I could have used a circle. I could have used, a die, circle, square, or oval, but I actually used this, well, one of these branching out. They're an unusual shape. So I just used one of those, and I had some masking paper. And Standing Up do put out some masking paper as well, which works really, really well, except I didn't have enough of it. I always say that because I keep using it. So I just used some masking paper that I had in my drawer, which works. This is just low tack paper, masking paper. Yeah, so now I'm going to, so I've already die cut the center out. Where's my, got the center over here. So I've just die cut that. I won't use that. Interestingly, it pulled all those little pieces of cardstock out of my acrylic plates. That tells you how much paper's in your acrylic plates from your cut and emboss machine. So that's why you wash it and you soak it and you scrub it. Now, let's get going. I'm just going to line this up in the center because I want this opening in the center. Oops. In the center. And then I'll stick this down. Now this mask just protects the area behind it. So I get that nice white area. Now you're going to see a small disaster, but I thought I'd show you what happens when you're trying to rush. I'm looking for, I had it on my desk because I was trying to fix it. You would laugh. My lemon lolly. Oh, here it is. My lemon lolly. I did another project, which I'll show you later. And I mixed green and lemon lolly. So I've soaked it up, as much green off it as I possibly can. And then I just applied a bit more lemon lolly because I took a lot of the ink out. So this will turn out an interesting colour. It will be slightly different than this. We'll see. Hopefully it will match my lemon lolly. I'm looking for here's this. So I'm just using a blending brush. Now, always take a little bit off. And I'm going to always work from the bottom up so that the bottom of my opening is a little darker. Let's see whether you're going to see the green. Who else has done this? Ever applied either the wrong re-inker? I've only done it a couple of times. I just didn't let this dry. And you'll see the project that I used. I've still got another. This is the second project I'm actually showing you. And then I've got another three that I've done to give you some more ideas of how you could use this stamp set. All right, so I'm just working my way up and keeping it. Still looking pretty yellow, slightly greener. And I think we can get away with it. What I will do is get some paper towel, lift the green, blot it, and take as much of that green off as I possibly can. If I can't get it off, I'll have to rinse it off. So run it under running water and then re-ink it. Ooh, has anyone else done that? So who uses lemon lolly? I have to say, I obviously don't use it anywhere near enough. I know. So there we go. So let's see if that mask worked like it should have. So peel it, always peel off your mask really gently. Should have a really crisp edge, which this one does. Look at that. Looks fabulous. Now I'm going to bring back my paper piercing mat. And why is it called that? Because if you want to stick holes in something and use a pokey tool, we've got a few pokey tools. This is the mat to do it. So it's a self-healing mat, but it's perfect for when you're using big stamps or photopolymer stamps that are a little more difficult to. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a little bit of crap off that. I haven't cleaned it, so we'll give it a bit of a clean. So I want it nice and clean for my black ink. Now I've re-inked my Memento. I've got a few options, but I'm sticking with Memento. I love Memento. Now, so I want to make sure I get really good ink coverage here. So I move it around. It's too big for a stamp, so that's why I'm turning it over this way, so I can apply the ink pad to the stamp, which is perfect for big images like this. I don't. So all I'm going to do is turn this over, line it up before I decide where I want it, what angle I want to put it at. So I'll put it like that. I forgot to put that paper down, didn't I? To protect my mat, but I think we're going to be okay. And again, I'm just walking my hands over it, and I missed a bit down there. Let's see what happens. I might have to mend that. Let's see. I know. So I want these leaves. Remember I said these little, I don't know what you call them, calyxes at the bottom of the flower. They're the hardest bit to actually stamp. So let's see how we go. Radio. I did say it was hard. So you can see I've got a little bit here, and I've still got some ink on here. Now the secret is, now I had to do the same on this one. It's just to line this up again. It's a clear stamp. And I can line it up. There's so many lines to use. Now, always make sure you line it up in at least 4 places. Now, it's a bit hard for me because I can't line it up because the camera's there. But I think I got that. So we'll just go again. Put a bit more pressure on it. Count this is my exercise. Always with clear stamps, you can nearly just reapply them. I think that's better. Let's see. Perfect. See, things are fixable. Now, so that's where it now looks. Look at the difference between an assembled card. You can see this has got a bit more green and a bit more colour, but the assembled card and just when it's like that. That's why we need those extra layers on it. So let's put it together. And we've got still a sentiment to put on it. I should get rid of that mat, otherwise I'll get glue on it, knowing me. Get that out of the way. Put this on. It's just got the tiniest little border. Then we're going to pop this up with dimensionals. So how many dimensionals do you ladies put in? You can now use your positional to stamp the image. And you're right. Wait a minute, something just moved then. Someone just suggested, and I don't know where that message, oh, there it is, Glenda. And you're so right. I just find, not that it isn't good, but for lives, it takes up a bit much room. I've got it sitting here. And that's one of the benefits of a stamp positioner. And if you don't know what a stamp positioner is, I can actually show you. So now you can see what having that black border, how that actually pops up. Now, I've got another congratulations. And I went with oh no, it's a happy birthday. I went with these, which are from the Readings for You ephemera packs. They have black printing on white and white printing on black. And they're just a bit quicker to use for classes. I could do some more embossing, but this is a bit quicker. And they still look stunning. I use these so much for my classes because they're so easy to use. So let's slip this in here. Now I'm going to add, have I got some, I think I have, here we go. We've got some dewdrop embellishments, which are from still in the mini catalogue. I'll add them to add a bit of sparkle. Don't use a lot of ribbons on my card, but I certainly use, where will I put this? I certainly use lots of embellishments. Yeah. Now I'm not going to decorate the inside because you can actually see what it looks like. Now, so you can see I've added colour. It's stunning because it just pops off the page. Now I'm going to show you. I've nearly finished. Sorry about that. I didn't have it on silent. And I want to show you what I actually did. Hello. Now we've got a bit of a problem. So I've finished the crafting, but because the phone rang, it has disconnected my phone. And I'm not sure I can connect it. Oh, yes, I have. Rightio. So let's come back here. Rightio. So I've made this background. Now, all I've done, which was really, this is where I mixed the green. All I did was run the ink pads using this end, so the end with the least amount of the plastic. And I've just scraped it across. And it's left little spaces. And then I've gone back with the lemon lime twist. Where's the lemon lime twist? Have I still got the lemon lime twist here? Is this lemon lime twist? Oh, anyway, I've got some shaded spruce. And you'll just see. Do you know how long this background took me? 2 seconds. So I've just added, and in there was also some lemon lime twist. And then all I did was add, and I'm hoping you'll be able to see some water spots here. So all I did was flick some water on using our water. Where is it? That's in here. Just using a water painter and flicking it on like that. And that also took some of the colour away, hence why it looks like it does. Now, all I'm going to do is grab this again. And you're going to see how easy it is to use to redo the stamp. I need to clean it, or otherwise I'll have another disaster, won't I? But you'll see how you can use this. Sorry about the camera rocking. You will see, and I might have to do, as I would call it, two-step stamping. So this time I'm just using the shaded spruce. So you can see how many different ways you can use this ink pad. Now, this is, again, you just be careful that you ink all the bits up. You haven't got any holes anywhere. If you do, just press a little harder. Rightio. So that's how it now looks. So, so we're just going to put this across here. Leave it down for a while. Press in those center bits a little harder than I would any others. This is probably the hardest I've ever stamped. I don't. Let's see. I missed a bit there, so you can half peel it off because it does stick. And we'll see. Did that? Maybe we can do this as well. Righto. So let's peel this off. Perfect. Look how stunning that is. Now I could add a white layer, or I could just apply it, add a sentiment, and look how that looks. I need to cut it down a bit, but look how nice that looks. Look, it truly took 5 minutes to do that background. Rightio. So thank you, Glenda, for letting me know you can still see me. Rightio. So let's see. I've got two other cards that I want to show you. And this is the, wait a minute, let's turn this over so we've got a clean sheet here. Rightio. So this is another one I did. Now this is Pool Party. And all I did was generational stamping. So generational stamping, if you don't know, is I've inked up my stamp and the big stamp, made sure there's lots of ink on it. So don't worry, I haven't inked this up. So I'm stamping it once, then stamping it a second time, and then stamping it a third time. Now remember that had no ink on it because I'd already used it. And that's how I get all these different tones of Pool Party. And how nice is this card? It's another truly 5-minute stamp set card. And I've just added another one of those sentiments, pre-printed sentiments, and added some borders. I am. And then the last one is this one. Let's see that we can see it. So I'm not sure. Oh, there we can. Wait a minute. There. Wait a minute. You can see that I've run it through an embossing folder. Now I've kept, this is a retired one, but I've kept it because I love it so much. It's called Scripty. It's not a 3D one. This technique will not work with a 3D one. They're too much texture. So it's just got a fine texture. Then I've just stamped the stamp. So this is tone on tone, so Hydrangea Hue. Then just added a really simple white sentiment on the bottom. So look how different these cards are. Look, get rid of that. So we have, let's do where's our cards? Scattered. So 1, 2, 3. So these are the ones I did step by step. We did this. Then I did this one. So if I put this one, just picture this stuck together. All right, I might just bring this up so that you can actually see. you'll see, that's better, the cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which is your favourite card? They're all simple techniques, but which is your favourite card? So which one are you going to pick? And maybe tell me whether you'd make one of these cards and who's going to have a go at some heat embossing, because it's the most spectacular. It really is the most spectacular thing, I think, for stamping. When we get new stampers and we show them how to do this, their mouths just stay open and they are gone forever. They become card makers. So which one do you like? I'll just hang off for a little bit. Now, I've also got a class on the weekend. I love this one, to be honest. I love this. But anyway, this one just because it's stunning and it's a little different than all the other cards. But I've got an in-person class this Sunday starting at 12:30. 8 cards. It's stamp a stack. And by lunchtime tomorrow, I will need your RSVP, including your prepayment. All the details are on my Facebook page. Adios. So Glenda can't pick a favourite. Myrtle likes 2 and 5. I know. Mary likes Standing Alone from the Start and now number 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2. I know Jeanette likes bottom left. See, such a versatile stamp set. It's only $35. Doesn't come with dies. You don't need dies, but you can do all these different things with such a simple stamp. And you can see that once you get used to stamping with it, it is an easy stamp to use and easy to fix. Ideo, I'm going to leave it there. I will be back next week with some more projects that I've enjoyed tonight, because I love all these, because they are so different, each one of them, just using the same stamp set. Ideo, I'm going now. Look after yourself. I hope you get lots of crafting done. I'm working on trying to catch up on stuff, so hopefully I get some crafting done as well. Adios. See you next week, if not before. Bye for now. Keep crafting.